We are looking at a complete rundown of every single wrestler poised to make a return to the WWE in 2026. To kick things off, the very first name on our list is none other than Y2J, Chris Jericho. A massive portion of the fanbase fully anticipated that his grand return was going to take place at the Royal Rumble, but as we saw, that moment never came to fruition. However, we may finally have the explanation as to why. Fresh reports are surfacing that claim AEW actually tacked on additional time to his existing contract to make up for time lost due to injuries. Because of that extension, Y2J was legally unable to make a cameo at the Rumble. Despite that, the rumor mill is spinning faster than ever, especially following WWE's latest storyline involving a mysterious box scheduled to be opened at the Elimination Chamber. Interestingly enough, that event would mark exactly 9,700 days since Jericho first debuted in the WWE. There is a very strong probability that he is the one inside that box at the chamber. But even if that specific reveal doesn't happen, you can rest easy believing that Chris Jericho is destined for a 2026 WWE comeback. Every major wrestling news source is heavily tied him to a return. At this point, it isn't a question of if he returns, but simply a matter of when. The chamber feels like the most logical landing spot because WWE will desperately want to utilize his legendary star power leading into WrestleMania 42. Before we move on to the next massive return, I just want to take a quick second to welcome everyone. If you're enjoying these updates and want to stay on top of all the wrestling news, rumors, and returns, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to SLAMZONE. Your support helps us keep bringing you the best content every single day. Now, let's shift gears from Chris Jericho to his one-time best friend, Kevin Owens. If you recall, last year KO shocked everyone by announcing he was stepping away from the squared circle due to a severe neck injury. Owens, being the fighter he is, tried to power through the pain, but medical professionals eventually gave him the hard truth: he needed to get out of the ring to avoid a potentially life-threatening situation. It wasn't until months later, in July, that we got the confirmation that Kevin Owens finally underwent neck fusion surgery. If you look at what the internet medical experts say, fully healing from a fusion surgery like that can take anywhere from 3 months up to a full year. We are currently sitting at the 7-month mark. Therefore, it is reasonable to expect him back sometime this summer. WWE is likely going to be very cautious with an injury of this magnitude. It makes sense to give him that extra recovery time, so I can definitely envision a return around SummerSlam. Kevin Owens isn't the only superstar we might see back by the time the biggest party of the summer rolls around. Bianca Belair is another top name who could grace the card. As we all remember, she suffered a broken hand after Rhea Ripley stomped on it at WrestleMania, and she has been completely out of action ever since. We finally received an update on her status. Bianca Belair recently underwent surgery for the hand and immediately began her physical therapy regimen. If you are wondering why there was such a long gap between the injury and the surgery, it is likely because her doctors wanted to see if the ligaments could repair themselves naturally. In many cases, it is actually preferred to let an injury heal on its own with rehabilitation rather than cutting someone open. However, that clearly didn't work out in this case, and she was forced to let the surgeons go in and make the repair. Now that the procedure is done, we are looking at a timeline of 3 to 6 months for her return. It is definitely a bummer that we have to wait a bit longer, but I am confident the return pop will be worth it. Bianca is going to come back, reclaim her spot at the top of the card, and I personally cannot wait to see it. Seth Rollins is another massive name expected to climb back to the top of the professional wrestling mountain. He went down with a shoulder injury during his bout with Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. The injury occurred during that insane coast-to-coast bump, a move I don't think anyone ever expected Rollins to attempt, but he went for it. He put his career on the line, and sadly, it ended up derailing his entire storyline involving the Vision. The WWE had to pivot quickly, thrusting Braun Breaker into the main event picture while the new plan became for Seth Rollins to recover. In the interim, WWE has booked a mystery man to terrorize the Vision faction for the last few months. The payoff was supposed to be the reveal of Seth Rollins, leading to a WrestleMania 42 clash between Seth and Braun. The plan was for Rollins to be ready by April. But now, who knows if that match can happen given Braun Breaker's own injury issues? We will touch on that in a second. Because of the complications, there is a chance WWE simply delays Seth's return. However, if they are dead set on having him back for Mania, I think a match against Chris Jericho would be incredible. I'm not sure why, but I have a gut feeling they would want a marquee match featuring 2 major returns. Imagine Y2J joining the Vision? That would be insane. Then Seth could get his revenge by taking the group down at WrestleMania. Let's circle back to Braun Breaker and his injury status. This one caught everyone off guard. It turns out he has been actively competing with a hernia for a while. With the constant wear and tear, it finally became too much. After he flipped the announce table on a recent episode of Raw, it reached a breaking point where surgery was required. WWE wrote him off television by claiming he was injured while working out. Paul Heyman is even out there exaggerating the situation, claiming Braun's career might be over. This is nothing more than a classic WWE trope where they make an injury sound catastrophic so the wrestler looks like Superman when they return. They do this constantly. Look at what they did with Johnson at the Royal Rumble. Don't get me wrong, a hernia requiring surgery is serious and can sideline you for 4 to 20 plus weeks. It really depends on the individual's rehab. Since Braun is young and a freak athlete, I am sure he will heal rapidly. WWE is hoping he is ready for the WrestleMania program with Rollins. But if he misses that date, I think he returns around Money in the Bank, potentially winning the briefcase to cash in on Roman Reigns if Roman holds the gold. That would be a fantastic storyline, getting Braun versus Roman with Paul Heyman caught in the middle. Sheamus has also been on the shelf for a few months. He was originally slotted for the John Cena tournament but had to be replaced after it was revealed he suffered a shoulder injury. This sounds like the same type of injury Finn Balor had back in 2016 after winning the Universal title, and likely the same one Seth Rollins had last year, though they won't disclose Seth's specifics. These usually take 3 to 6 months to heal. That said, I think WWE holds Sheamus out until after WrestleMania. The company loves surprise returns on the Raw after Mania, and they probably don't have a solid creative plan for him at the event itself. I would bet money on seeing him in April or May. Zoe Stark is another name to watch. She tore her ACL 8 months ago on Monday Night Raw during a match with Kairi Sane. It was a brutal injury requiring immediate surgery. However, she should be returning very soon. Modern ACL recoveries usually take 7 to 11 months, sometimes 12. This means she is right in the window to return within the next few months. Literally, it could be tomorrow or in 3 months. This will be a boost for the women's division, as it never hurts to add more talent to the pool. Speaking of the women's division, they temporarily lost another talent in Chelsea Green, who suffered an ankle sprain. Fightful Select reported she should be back in just a few weeks. She had built up some great momentum recently, so hopefully, she returns quickly and doesn't lose that heat. Finally, the last person who could return is a total wildcard, Paige. We have seen her run in AEW, proving she can still add massive value to a promotion. With AJ Lee's recent promos receiving backlash, fans aren't happy, and it's been a bit cringy. WWE might try to correct course by bringing Paige back. She has openly stated she would be interested if WWE called. I don't see why they wouldn't. She is great in the ring, fantastic on the mic, and the fans would pop huge for her return. It also serves as a great, feel-good story. I'm sure plenty of casual WWE fans never even knew she went to AEW. If she comes back, it's a heartfelt moment. Honestly, I would love a program where she and AJ Lee form a tag team, eventually have a falling out, and set up a WrestleMania match. That would be a ton of fun and tap into major nostalgia for fans from the 2013 era. Anyway, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the breakdown. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.